Hi there, it is I, Rainette, and welcome to me struggling to make a voiceover for another art video. This piece I started all the way back in February of 2020. It was a piece I made trying to get better at line art. Was it the first piece I made? I believe so. I think this was my first real attempt at improving my line art, and I learned stuff from it, and then I abandoned it for 3 months, which was great. Finally got back to it the other day and I coloured it with some information I learnt from practicing my colouring. There is a lot of things I need to learn when it comes to art, and the list just keeps getting bigger. I learn one thing and then there's another thing I want to learn, and then there's this and that. There are a lot of artists I look up to, and there are a lot of skills I need to improve on to even come close to their standard of art. But I'm trying, and what can you do? You can only learn so much in a short period of time. And ever so slowly, I am getting more time on my hands, especially since I have a lot less responsibilities than I did, say, this time last year. Yeah. This time last year, I had actually just left one of my jobs and was going straight into a new job. Hopefully I will never have to do that ever again. Mallow, of course, is best girl from my comic series that I've not come back to in years now. She is a mute frog girl and she's absolutely delightful. I made a whole video on her. Of course, one thing that was really lacking in the version of the comic that is online right now, which is not the final version, by the way, is clothes. Their clothes are very, very boring, and it just didn't really have a solid era to it, you know? I mean, it's a fantasy world, and if anything, it's futuristic. So I didn't have to stick to anything in particular, but something consistent is nice. I decided to eradicate all zips from this fashion period. So lots of things are tied up or just put on very simply. So of course this is something I want to do for all my characters when there is a comic for them, but this is something I'll have to figure out in the future. So this is a design I actually made way before drawing this. This is not something I did off the fly. As you can see, there is a reference of some sort in the corner. If only I use more references for the body and stuff, maybe it would look better, but it doesn't look terrible. I did cut off the feet because I was lazy, and this line art takes a long time. This is like 8 hours of footage we're looking at, right? And half of it was spent on line art alone. Not even the colouring took as long as my line art. So of course I cut corners and cut her feet off too, but I'm not mad at it. Of course it would have been nice to draw her boots too, but what can you do? Of course I spent some time studying how to draw hair too, and I think this is one of the best hairs I've ever coloured, if that's the right English. Or maybe it just looks good because of all the lines just separating everything. I don't know. I think it's like best one I've ever done so far. And also the shading on the clothes, I've gotten a lot more confident with it. shadows have always been really hard for me. I've never really known where to put them. And still, even in this drawing, it's still really tame, which I don't want. I want to be a bit more, how do you say, confident with shadows. So that's another thing I need to learn. Also lighting would also be a good thing to stick my foot in. I want to stop with the whole floating characters thing. I think that's very amateur of me. The concept itself isn't, but how simple it is to draw just a floating character, that's definitely quite amateur. If I want to make this comic one day, I will have to get used to drawing characters in backgrounds, complex characters in complex backgrounds. So that's one thing I will do. I already have a few ideas of scenes I want to draw, but they're gonna take a long time. Of course they're gonna take a long time. And hopefully I can work on my lighting as well while doing that. And from my book, my comic Sunny, I quite like the concept of line art in the characters and painting work in the background. Now it might just become a line art in the foreground, painting in the background kind of scenario, depending on how far I'm going to go with details, but that's something I'll have to see. So as far as projects go, Yellow Feathers is gonna be on hold as usual. I will shorten it and get all the stories into gear and sort it out properly, because it deserves, some real thinking through, which is crazy because I've already written the script for it. The entire script I've written out, which was a lot of work, and I was so happy that I finished it, and then I just never did anything with it. So yeah, Yellow Feathers, there's going to be that kind of scenario. Sunny and long distance friends gonna I'm currently working on some additional art and pages, I guess, for them, and I will be hopefully making it into a book to sell, because you can read the comic for free, but it'd be nice to have a book form as well, and with some extra, of course, so it's worth it, So yeah, I have a lot of plans for the upcoming year. So yeah, hopefully that all goes alright. And thanks for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next one, which I will hopefully be posting soon. Farewell.